Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid and welcome to this week's Astro Oracle reading. I'm going to be going through all the signs of the zodiac. I'm going to be pulling 3 cards for each sign. You're going to get 9 cards. You know why? Because you're going to read your sun sign first, then the story unfolds with the rising sign or ascendant, and then it ends and concludes with the moon. So you're going to have a 9-card spread that you could look at and say, oh yeah, I can track myself this week. All right? Now, let's get going with Aries. So Aries, I'm going to read these 3 cards together. So you have Imagine and To the Sea and Protection, and then you have Why. So what this is about is the idea of doing something based on what you think something should be, that you didn't have your why in place, right? So in other words, you've kind of gone off track a little bit, and the way you get back on track is through asking yourself why and getting very clear on your motives and your expectations that are somehow imbued in those motives. So the turning point for the Aries personality will be a self-reflection of saying, like, why am I doing this again? And why am I following this particular path? And then you're going to be amazed when you start asking yourself those important questions. All right. Now, and it's also that fear of the unknown, because the 2 first cards were in protection. So it's that sense of like, is my boat going to capsize? How do I do this? But it won't. And you just have to regroup by saying like, why am I really doing this again? And then you're going to get your answers. Okay, this next 3 cards are Taurus. So Taurus, I'm going to lead them out. That's No Place Like Home. The Y card again, and Imagine in Protection. This is very interesting. You saw me shuffle those cards. So for the Taurus personality this week, you are quite grounded. So this No Place Like Home is your anchor card. It's your first one. And if you keep remembering what makes you feel at home and that sense of knowing who you are, then your why will come naturally. And it does warn you about that kind of stinking thinking and fear of the unknown, because you are safe. I think this is the other piece here, is that there's a sense of I can be grounded in the day. I know I'm okay. I know my motives for why I do what I do. And this will help me not fall into the future pacing where you think, oh my God, what if this happens? What if, or shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? So this is important for the Taurus personality this week too. All righty, now I'm gonna shuffle these. I'm gonna do that poker shuffle I love to do. These cards are a little stiffer. This is for Gemini. Again, the why. I mean, come on. Oh, this is crazy. So the Gemini is regrouping right now and rebuilding foundations. So this is a sense of like, I'm stepping back and I'm going to take a look at what needs to change in my world. It could be your relationships, could be your business. Because the co-create card is in the protection position, it could be the things that you've been actually doing. And you're forgetting that you have a co-creative partnership with the universe. It's not you alone or your will or your ego that is creating your reality or impacting the world and engaging in life on life's terms at the same time. This is kind of like a reminder that some of the decisions that you might have made or some of the opinions that you might have had are requiring you to regroup and readjust the foundations of your life. Okay, what an interesting week so far. All righty then. Let's look at the Cancer personality next. Okay, so for the Cancerians, the New Life card, Milk and Honey and Round. This is really great because it's showing that you have learned a lesson. So New Life right away is I'm doing something new, I'm experiencing something new, and it's foreign, so it's brand new. And because Milk and Honey is there, there's a more playful quality to it. You feel abundant about it. You've upped your game, you've up-leveled. And this tells us what. The what is round and round. It means that you have seen that you have improved throughout your patterns. I guess other people's stuff isn't getting to you as much. You know, you might see a repeat of something that you've seen in the past, but it's not impacting you the same way. So this is a great week for Cancerians to see how far you've come. All right. And that's me, so I hope that's right. All righty. Now let's take a look at Leo. Here we go, Leos. Leo. So Leo has the never-ending story, building blocks, and happy, happy. That's great. So this is also very positive for the Leo personality, because this victim story of feeling entitled, you didn't get what you want, or a sense of feeling like, what is happening? I should have that, and I didn't get that, blah, blah, blah. You're actually happy. So you're realizing, oh, good thing I didn't get that, because now I'm much better solid ground, and I'm very happy with that loss. So this is when something is denied you for your highest good, and you get it. So for the Leos, this is a really beautiful week for you to really know how you're doing around the sense of when something is denied you in some way. Whereas in the past, you might have been, woe is me, and super entitled, like, why didn't I get to go? And, this isn't fair. But in fact, you're saying, you know what? Okay, that's okay, because I know that these two cards tell me I'm way better off without this. Okay, perfect. And you don't have to make something wrong either in order for you to be okay. Now let's get to Virgo next. All right, Virgos, the fates, deep knowing and protection, and messages from message in a bottle and protection. So if you look at these three cards, something is happening you have no control over. That's the fates. It's not a bad thing, it just is. It's one of those kind of weird synchronistic moments where you literally have to surrender to what is in front of you. Now, the interesting thing for you, Virgo, is that you may miss the message, all right? So you might miss the message. So this is warning you really to trust your intuition, because when these two cards are in protection, like the deep knowing card, which is your intuition card, and then message in a bottle, which is typically the message from spirit, they're both upside down. So you're like, oh, this fated thing is actually offering me something. So you have to look for the treasure that's hiding in plain sight right in front of you, and trust your first gut impression, and really know that that's the right one before you spool over into making things up about what happened when it's not true, right? You can actually make up stories about something. You have these assumptions, and this is saying avoid those at all costs, because this is actually really good for you. All right, now let's take a look at Libra. Here we go. I'm gonna shuffle these cards. Excellent. Here we go. Okay, Libra. And here we go for Libra. Okay, so go the distance. So this is really interesting. So this is for Libra. Now Libras, there's a quality of these cards that I think are really important, because these two cards, you got truth be told and protection, go the distance upright, and clean it up in protection. So when the truth be told and protection is mirrored by clean it up, I'm reading this reading because of the relationship between these two cards and what this means, okay? Independently, they mean something a little different. So this is when somebody could be talking behind your back. Truth be told and protection is something is either being withheld from you, somebody is being dishonest, or you're actually lying to yourself, right? So this is about denial. Now, go the distance means you got to just keep going no matter what. That's what this is. But the action really is about clean it up and protection. This is when the codependency piece can come in, because you're trying to appease someone else. So say somebody is mad at you for something and they're telling everybody all this stuff. And this card is like, well, what could I do to placate this person? Like, how could I control this? Or I don't want them to feel bad. Or I'm just kind of feeling like, what do I do? What do I do? Well, you don't do anything is basically what this is saying. That in fact, when you actually try to do that, try to make peace with everybody, try to make balance and harmony, which is very Libran, sometimes, and when this card is in the protection position, you actually rob them of their bottom. Like, let people stew if they have to stew. Let people not like you. That's the other thing. It's like you can't please everybody. You just can't. And people will have agendas and they will project onto you. You have to be very cautious and just keep going with what you know to be true. Okay? All righty then. So this is really a reflection of codependent actions, behaviors, people-pleasing, etc. Next is Scorpio. Let's take a look at these wonderful scorpions. Okay. So for Scorpio, Scorpio. Yes. Okay, perfect. So Scorpio here, the first card, which is your anchor card, is time for a nap and protection. You may have exhausted yourself with a particular story that you're telling yourself, and it doesn't even matter what it is, but it's like the hamster wheel is just like done. And you're in between worlds, and you were placed there for a good reason. So this is part of where you are right now, is not sure where you're meant to go or be, but you're not where you were, and you're not where you think you want to be, and you really haven't done the work to get to where you want to be. And that's what Come to the Edge is all about, is taking the risk and really diving deep. Otherwise, you won't get to where you want to go. And this is the kind of exhaustion of denial in a way, too. When time for a nap is in protection, it's like, well, how far do I have to go to get what I say I want when I'm not really doing what I say I want? And so this is a beautiful card that says you can come to the edge, and the angels will push you and you will fly. So this is a beautiful time for you to be really assessing yourself, saying, am I behaving in a way, am I thinking in a way, am I feeling in a way that's for my highest good and in truth? Or am I, still creating something that I'm still trying to work out, right? So that could be that. Now let's take a look at Sagittarius. Okay, Sag is at a place where this is interesting. So Sagittarius, what it says here is you got a fork in the road, come to the edge, and a change in the wind. And when you have a fork in the road in protection, that's being unable to really know what move to make. And there's a reason why you're feeling that way. And this relates to this card, which means there's changes that you did not set in motion that are happening around you, and you're afraid to take a risk. This is a really good time for you to assess, like a risk assessment. You may be a little risk averse at the moment, and that's fine, but you do have to make some decision. Otherwise, you're going to feel somehow that you're kind of stuck. And so allowing yourself to flow with the change in the wind is the right choice to do. Not making any big, large moves on your own because you don't know how things are going to play out. There's that. Okay, I love doing this. Do you know I love doing this? I totally love doing this. Now this is for Capricorn. Capricorn, by the book in protection, TikTok, upright, and co-create. So this is great. So this is all about bending the rules for the Capricorn personality. So Capricorn, you're there already. Go for it. Hop right in there. Things are stirred up. You're doing things differently, and that's great. You have all the time in the world to discover what that's going to bring you. And the co-create card reminds you of your partnership with Spirit. It is a really creative time for you, Capricorns. So you can make changes knowing that innovation right now is actually a really good thing. So enjoy this week for the Capricorns. Capricorn personalities, here we go. Aquarius. Fabulous week for Aquarius. Starts with happy, chaos and conflict, and building blocks. So the words chaos and conflict, oftentimes we immediately go to that's bad. It's not. Because happy begins, the chaos is exciting. So the chaos is like throwing seeds in a garden. It's like we have this huge, I think 2 acres. How many acres is it, Mark? Our 2 acres of wildflowers right in front of our house, like 2 acres of them. And they spring up and all kinds of stuff happens there and butterflies come and we have no control. And we just keep throwing seeds in there and seeing what comes up, different colors, purples and yellows and stuff like that. But it's very chaotic, right? We don't have any particular plan, but it's beautiful. Now, the conflict, because this card is upright, is more about letting go attachments to form. Why does that say that? Because building blocks is there, and building blocks tends to be a fixed picture in one's mind, right? So we actually create a solid foundations in that kind of chaotic pattern that has its own purpose. Like there's a divine chaos. So really, this is an interesting week for Aquarius, and one in which I have a lot of Aquarius friends. I'm going to see what happens for them. And we have Pisces now, mystical Pisces. Let's see what's in store for you this week, what you have to think about. So deep knowing, time for a nap, and time to go is in. So deep knowing is in protection, time for nap is upright, and time to go is in protection. So this is about a kind of burnout in a way for Pisces. You got to really be careful not to burn out this week. And reason being is that this is saying you don't know when to stop and you don't know when to go, right? So it's like, do I stay? Do I go? And it's really about, you got to just rest. Just take your mind off of whatever it is that you're fixated on and just really flow with resting. So this may be a week where you're very busy, so you have to take these resting spaces. You have to plan for them. There's also about a releasing of attachment. It was really interesting. I've done a number of readings in the past, I don't know, couple of months, and time to go kept coming. Everybody, it was bizarre. I was like, okay, what do we make of this, right? And it really is about releasing attachment to a particular form that you think is for you and it's only for you and you should have that. And in fact, that's saying that's going to get you into trouble. So with this in mind, have a fabulous week, Pisces, and everybody else. I will see you next week. All right, now subscribe to my channel and like my video and leave me a comment. I love to see them, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Take care.